Hey guys, this is Martin, founder of Fractional CMO marketing agency for SaaS companies, helping SaaS companies 10x the effort and outcomes that their marketing budgets achieve by thinking smarter. So, in this classroom video, I'm going to look and talk briefly about just some very simple, basic, fundamental ideas about product led growth sign up. I get to audit onboardings, workflows a lot, and I still keep seeing the same mistakes being made over and over again. So let me just walk through just kind of the ABCs that if you're building a product-led growth product, some of the things that you want to think about. So PLG. So someone signs up, and the whole purpose here is, for them to try the product and get into the product and obviously become a subscriber. Now, there's lots of different strategies around payment. So whether that's free trial for a period of time, or free trial based on usage, or simply you have a usage limit. There are definitely benefits and some downsides to each of those strategies. Don't have time to cover that in this video. Maybe I'll do that as another video. But the key thing is that you're wanting them to self-serve and get the value from the product, and so that experience drives new customers, so from free to paid. And so you will have one of these pricing models factored into your product. So just thinking about the journey of the experience of that product, and all the onus is on the product to be the marketer and the salesperson. No longer is it just a product, it's also the very thing that creates revenue in your company. So actually there's a lot of detail and attention to detail that should be kept in this space. So when someone comes into your product sign up, one of the things which can be what I call a fake news sign up is if they don't understand what it is. And so that can be a homepage with too much jargon, too much kind of clever marketing verbiage without actually explaining what does this product do. So when you get into language like the all-in-one or end-to-end, these are classic phrases which describe something but potentially say nothing at the same time. And so from a user's experience, if they can go 5 to 10 seconds scrolling down a page and not really understanding what it is, and there's a button which says sign up for free, they're just going to shortcut this frustration of not really understanding what it is and try and find out by getting on the inside. Now, potentially that solves the problem, but if it doesn't solve the problem, or there's such a disconnect from what they thought it was to actually what it is, because it was so ambiguous, then that's what I call a fake news sign up, i.e., they're not really signing up because they've seen the product on the outside and they want to get on the inside. They don't understand what the product is on the outside, and so they're just trying to work that out. And so that whole positioning on that page is really critical in terms of clarity and simplicity. So let's say you do have that dialed in and you've got a good communication piece on your homepage. And so they're coming in because they're excited by the promise made on the landing page or on the homepage that they've arrived at. So now there's obviously a universal, or I should say a unlimited number of universal ways in which you can set up your workflow. And sometimes that requires integrations, sometimes it doesn't. But essentially, one of the things which I'm amazed that companies still don't do this is that they allow users to come into a space and they don't use that real estate to just introduce themselves and put a voice to the product. and give maybe a 2 minute super high level video, like a teaser demo or like an advert on the product, which literally just gives a high level overview of this is, you've seen the copy, so and this is how it actually works with a bit of product detail, bit of product overview. In my mind, this is super important. And why is this important? Well, think about B2B models and why they put a presentation, a product demo, before someone makes a decision. They want to demonstrate the real features and benefits of the product. They want to show the product in its glory and what it can achieve. And so if you take the product-led growth model, why wouldn't you replicate that critical component within your funnel? And so by not having that in there, then you create potentially a vacuum, and that vacuum is asking the user to basically go, here you go, here's a wall of new information which you need to navigate, and you need to work out through navigation and effort and spending time on this product to just come to a simple realization: is this product right for me? Does this product do something that I need? Is this product better than something I already have? And so a simple video overview can actually take the onus away from the user and kind of give them the map, if you like, of the outcome which they're potentially looking to achieve, and match their initial motivation to sign up with now a further reason to take some action. So what happens if you don't have that video, or at least some helpful workflows around that? Well, it's pretty obvious. You'll get leakage. And so you'll have a high turnover, and then therefore a high churn. And so if you've spent any marketing budget getting this traffic into here and you don't have this dialed in, you're just throwing money into the fire. So most product-led products do understand that onboarding workflows are important, and so they may not have this high-level overview, but they probably have an onboarding workflow, which is great. Now, there's loads of kind of third-party tools which help assist with this and help you speed up the process. Again, a bit like pricing, there are different strategies within this and different ways of kind of presenting that flow. From a strategic point of view, of my personal preference, I think there are two key things that you should try and achieve depending on the product, but essentially using any tool that you can, which is create an onboarding goal which aligns to a level 1 outcome. So let's say you were a LinkedIn lead gen solution. Can you help someone set up their first campaign within 10 minutes? Or let's say you are a productivity tool. Can you help someone put in their to-dos and it automatically go into their calendar if that was the outcome of the product? And so one is to identify what is that level 1 outcome, and can you gamify that? And the gamification just simply means, the success of completion. You can obviously emphasize that behavior with emojis like flares and rockets and rainbows. I don't know if Asana still do it, but they used to have, if you tick things off, you would get, I think, unicorns and rainbows on the screen. So you can also make it stimulating in terms of creating that kind of social media interaction. But critically, those are kind of the things that you want to think about in terms of the psychology of tying a user into taking some action. So what are the benefits of someone achieving a level 1 outcome? Well, then they're ready to invest in a level 2 outcome. And so a level 2 outcome might be, let's take those two examples, the LinkedIn or the productivity. There might be a more technical outcome for themselves that they're looking to achieve. For example, they might be looking to do LinkedIn and email, and there's an integration element there in which they might have some questions around domains, or potentially they're thinking about team integration on a calendar for productivity. And so they've achieved a benefit here, and now they have an investment to keep pushing forward and see what value they can get and derive from this product. And so one of the things then that you want to think about in terms of supporting this is having an environment where this is possible. And so there is kind of a passive environment and a proactive environment. Ideally, you have both because you're creating a strong environment as a holistic outcome. What do I mean by passive and proactive environment? So passive could be you've got a university, and so within that university there are short courses on how to do X, Y, and Z, or maybe they've got a school community with that kind of support and that engagement. And again, school, one of the reasons why it's probably very successful is that it's really well gamified. School is actually a great example of gamification, and the whole platform is geared around gamification for people taking action on content. And so if you're needing ideas about gamification on a workflow, go spend some time on school and see how that works. So proactive is creating essentially engagement with ideally humans and not AI to drive that proactive learning. And so, provide training support, onboarding support, maybe a deep dive tour, of like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now they've kind of got a feel for the product. And so you start to put a custom success element into the product. And that essentially, if you get those things right, then you achieve the outcome, a new customer. And so hopefully these are some really useful ideas around what to think about in terms of product-led growth onboarding. I've put a post here which I'll link into this video, which I wrote on LinkedIn quite a few weeks ago. But it was just highlighting how many products fall back so quickly on AI for onboarding in terms of chat and support. And what was really amazing about a recent look at, I think the product is heyreach.io, which is a certainly a LinkedIn lead gen solution. I think it's LinkedIn and email. Is that when you go into the onboarding environment, they've got this great pop-up, which is, customer support comes up, pops up on the left screen, and it sort of says, chat with us or FaceTime with us. And I absolutely loved that FaceTime button, with us, because it was just like, hey, we're not hiding behind our knowledge base, our technical documents, all our courses that you need to like spend hours. Like, we'll just pop up on your screen and FaceTime you. You can FaceTime us, and yeah, we can help you just kind of get the best experience right now on our product. And I thought it was a brilliant example of being proactive. So of course with that comes things around resources, and one of the reasons why early stage products rely on AI. There's nothing wrong with that, but think about that ability to bring in human support and human interaction as quick as possible. Let me know if you found this useful. Look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.